Continuing here with the World Bible, edited by Robert O Ballou. From the Zendavesta, I accidentally stopped, so Hymn to the Sun is the section here, and there's a bunch of hymns to various things, but anyways. We sacrifice unto the undying, shining, swift-horsed sun, when the light of the sun waxes warmer, when the brightness of the sun waxes warmer, then stand up the heavenly yazatas. By hundreds and thousands they gather together its glory. They make its glory pass down. They pour its glory upon the earth made by Ahura, for the increase of the world of holiness, for the increase of the creatures of holiness, for the increase of the undying, shining, swift-horse sun. And when the sun rises up, then the earth made by Ahura becomes clean, the running waters become clean, the waters of the wells become clean, the waters of the sea become clean, the standing waters become clean, all the holy creatures and the creatures of the good spirit become clean. Should not the sun rise up, then the Davas would destroy all things that are in the seven Karshvaras, nor would the heavenly yazatas find any way withstanding or repelling them in the material world. So the Davas are the demons and the Kavaras are the universes or the skies or something. Standing and repelling them in the material world. He who offers up a sacrifice unto the undying, shining, swift-horsed sun, to withstand darkness, to withstand the Davas born of darkness, to withstand the robbers and bandits, to withstand the Yatas and the Perikas, to withstand death that creeps in the unseen, offers it up to Ahura Mazda, offers it up to the Ameshaspentas, offers it up to his own soul. He rejoices all heavenly and worldly yazatas, who offers up a sacrifice to the undying, shining, swift-horse sun. Now, there's a lot of this talk to the Vedas. Well, if you worship something good, then you're worshiping God, or God. Sort of goes against the monotheist current of, really goes against the current of Zarathustra, but what do you expect? The priests want to bring back the old stuff, right? The Faravashis, and Aleister Crowley spoke, I think in his version of the Goetia, one of the invocations he translates as, "O thou Satan's son." So same principle here, except washed over a little bit. The Faravashis of the faithful. We worship the good, strong, beneficent Faravashis of the faithful, who show beautiful paths to the waters, who show a beautiful growth to the fertile plants, who show their paths to the stars, the moon, the sun, and the endless lights that had stood before for a long time in the same place without moving forward through the oppression of the Davas and the assaults of the Davas. And now they move in their far revolving circle forever till they come to the time of the good restoration of the world. Now, calling to mind is different than worship, and that's a lot of what we're talking about here, is the recalling to mind. I'm not saying that the guardian entities of the stars and the human beings and all that were not worshipped, but it started out as just think of these. The ball revolving circle till they come to the time of the good restoration of the world. We worship Zarathustra. No, we remember Zarathustra. Why would we worship the guy? He wouldn't have wanted that. The Lord and Master of all the material world, the guide, the Sayyid, is the Arabic thing that they say about their sheikh, or they say that about the prophets. Anyways. of all the material world, the man of the primitive law, the wisest of all beings, the best ruling of all beings, the brightest of all beings, the most glorious of all beings, the most worthy of sacrifice amongst all beings, the most worthy of prayer amongst all beings, the most worthy of propitiation amongst all beings, the most worthy of glorification among all beings, whom we call well-desired and worthy of sacrifice and prayer as much as any being can be in the perfection of his holiness. So the example of perfecting man, but they've, ever has been the case to exaggerate. It's like in India, I found that there's 24 of the avatars that, they said, hey, I'm just an avatar, I'm not a god. But later on, it was like, it was a secret. It was a secret. It's a secret. He didn't tell the rest of you, but I know. Yeah, now that he's been gone for 20 years or 100 years, whatever, it's your secret anyways. We worship this earth. We worship those heavens. We worship those good things that stand between the earth and the heavens that are worthy of sacrifice and prayer and are to be worshipped by the faithful man. We worship the souls of the wild beast and of the tame. We worship the souls of the holy men and women born at any time, whose consciousnesses struggle or will struggle or have struggled for the good. We worship the spirit, consciousness, conscience, perception, soul, and fravashi of the holy men and holy women who struggle, will struggle, or have struggled, and teach the law, and who have struggled for holiness. And again, I'm presuming this is the word for not worship, but remember. Who's worthy to be remembered? Let's remember this. Let's... in the Vesta, you definitely have that a lot. So the tradition, not understanding the language, just like Christianity is going from the Aramaic to the Greek and Latin and the Hebrew and the European languages. The older versions meant something different. The Ravashis of the faithful, awful and overpowering, awful and victorious, the Fravashis of the men of the primitive law, the Fravashis of the next of kin. May these Fravashis come satisfied into this house. May they walk satisfied through this house. And the abodes of the soul. At the end of the third night, when the dawn appears, it seems to the soul of the faithful ones as if it were brought amidst plants and scents. It seems as if wind were blowing from the region of the south. The regions of the south, a sweet-scented wind, sweeter scented than any other wind in the world. Now, for some people, that's where hurricanes come from, so they wouldn't consider the south ones too sweet. Before, weather reports or something, we got to prepare for hurricane because winds from the south, Right, Mara seems to have his own conscience. Were advancing to him and that wind in the shape of a maiden fair, bright, white-armed, strong, tall-formed, high-standing, thick-breasted, beautiful of body, noble, of a glorious seed, of a size of a maid in her 15th year, as fair as the fairest things in the world. So 14-year-old, okay. But let's be real, 50 years ago, there was more maturity in a 13-year-old than there is in a 30-year-old. Independent morality and the ability to choose otherwise. That and the parents got involved, so it wasn't quite as mischievous as even marrying a woman in her 20s nowadays, because... And the soul of the faithful one addresses her, asking, "What maid art thou? Who are the fairest maid I have ever seen?" And she, being his own conscience, answers him, "O thou youth of good thoughts, good words, and good deeds, of good religion," Dana, system of judgment. I am thy own conscience. Everybody did love thee for that greatness, goodness, fairness, sweet-scentedness, victorious strength, and freedom from sorrow in which thou dost appear to me. And so thou, O youth of good thoughts, good words, and good deeds, of good religion, didst love me for that greatness, goodness, fairness, sweet-scentedness, victorious strength, and freedom from sorrow, in which I appear to thee. When thou wouldst see a man making derision and deeds of idolatry, or rejecting the poor and shutting his door, then thou wouldst sit singing the Gathas, and worshipping the good waters and Attar, the son of Ahura Mazda, rejoicing the faithful that would come from near or from afar. Now, I'm suspecting, people consider figured language, but, you use the fire and the water in the worship, but they actually did not worship the water according to the language, or they didn't worship the fire. I was lovely, and thou madest me still lovelier. I was fair, and thou madest me still fairer. I was desirable, and thou madest me still more desirable. I was sitting in a forward place, and thou madest me sit in the foremost place. Though this good thought, through this good speech, through this good deed of thine, and so henceforth men worship me for my having long sacrificed unto and conversed with Ahura Mazda. Well, men hope for some things. The first step that the soul of the faithful man made placed him in the good thought paradise. The second step that soul of the faithful man made placed him in the good word paradise. The third step that the soul of the faithful man made placed him in the good deed paradise. The fourth step that the soul of the faithful man made placed him in the endless lights. At the end of the third night, when the dawn appears, it seems to the soul of the wicked one as if it were brought amidst snow and stench, as if a wind were blowing forth from the region of the north. From the regions of the north, a foul-stenched wind, and the foul-scented of all the winds in the world. The first step that the soul of the wicked man made laid him in the evil thought hell. The second step that the soul of the wicked man made laid him in the evil word hell. The third step of the soul of the wicked man laid him in the evil deed hell. The fourth step of the soul of the wicked man laid him in the endless darkness. I'm thinking of, the final snow is the name of a new, or relatively new, satanic YouTube channel, and is this what the guy means? By the end of the third night, of the dog. Which is the good creature among the creatures of the good spirit that from midnight till the sun is up goes and kills thousands of creatures of the evil spirit? Ahura Mazda answered, the dog with the prickly back, with the long and thin muzzle, the dog Vangapara, which evil-speaking people call the Duzaka. This is the good creature among the creatures of the good spirit, that from midnight till the sun is up goes and kills thousands of the creatures of the evil spirit. So people could say a mythical beast, but actually the water dog, which is not really a dog. The otter? You're not supposed to kill otters, I think, in this tradition. But the prickly back, that makes it sound like a hedgehog or a porcupine or something. And whoever, O Zarathustra, shall kill the dog, kills his own soul for 9 generations, nor shall he find a way over the Chinvat bridge, unless he has, while alive, atoned for his sin. O maker of the material world, thou Holy One, if a man kills the dog, what is the penalty that he shall pay? Ahura Mazda answered, 1,000 stripes with Aspahi Astra, 1,000 stripes with the Sharasha Karana. Feel free to translate any of these names or terms in the comment section. Of course, tell me which ones they are. Whosoever shall smite either a shepherd's dog or a house dog or a Vohunazaga dog or a trained dog, his soul, when passing to the other world, shall fly howling louder and more sorely grieved than the sheep does in the lofty forest where the wolf ranges. No soul will come and meet his disparaging soul and help it, howling and grieved in the other world, nor will the dogs that keep the Chinvad bridge help his departing soul, howling and grieved in the other world. A dog has the characters of 8 sorts of people. He has the character of a priest, of a warrior, of a husbandman, of a strolling singer, of a thief, of a dissu, of a courtesan, and of a child. He eats the refuse like a priest. He is easily satisfied like a priest. He's patient like a priest. He wants only a small piece of bread like a priest. In these things he is like unto a priest. He marches in front like a warrior. He fights for the beneficent cow like a warrior. He goes first out of the house like a warrior. In these things he is like unto a warrior. He is watchful and sleeps lightly, like a husbandman. He goes first out of the house, like a husbandman. He returns last into the house, like a husbandman. In these things he is like unto a husbandman. He is fond of singing, like a strolling singer. He wounds him who gets too near, like a strolling singer. He is ill-trained, like a strolling singer. He is changeful, like a strolling singer. In these things he is like unto a strolling singer. He is fond of darkness, like a thief. He prowls about in darkness, like a thief. He is a shameless eater, like a thief. He is therefore an unfaithful keeper, like a thief. In these things he is like unto a thief. He is fond of darkness, like a dissu. He prowls in darkness, like a dissu. He is a shameful eater, like a dissu. He is therefore an unfaithful keeper, like a dissu. In these things he is like unto a dissu. He is fond of singing, like a courtesan. He wounds him who gets too near, like a courtesan. He roams along the roads like a courtesan. He is ill-trained, like a courtesan. He is changeful, like a courtesan. In these things he is like unto a courtesan. He is fond of sheep, like a child. He is fond of sleep, like a child. He is tender, like snow, like a child. He is full of tongue, like a child. He clings like a child. He is full of tongue, like a child. He digs the earth with his paws, like a child. In these things he is like unto a child. If these 2 dogs of mine, the shepherd's dog and the house dog, pass by any one of my houses, let him never be kept away from it. For no house could subsist on earth made by Ahura, but for those 2 dogs of mine, the shepherd's dog and the house dog, O maker of the material world, thou Holy One. When a dog dies, with marrow and seed dried up, whereto does his ghost go? Ahura Mazda answers, it passes to the spring of the waters, O Spitama Zarathustra, and there out of them 2 water dogs are formed, and out of every 1,000 dogs and every 1,000 she-dogs a couple is formed, a water dog and a water she-dog. O maker of the material world, thou Holy One, if a bitch be near her time, which is the worshipper of Mazda, that shall support her. Ahura Mazda answered, he whose house stands nearest. The care of supporting her is his. So long shall he support her until the whelps be born. If he shall not support her, so that the whelps come to grief for want of proper support, he shall pay for it the penalty for willful murder. He shall take her to rest upon a litter of Nimovanta, or of any foliage fit for a litter. So long shall he support her, until the young dogs are capable of self-defense and self-subsistence. It lies with the faithful to look in the same way after every pregnant female, either two-footed or four-footed. Two-footed women or four-footed bitch. You know, female dog. Nowadays, we would just say female dog because people, you know, anyways. Even where it's wrong or been made wrong by the compilations and the new versions and all that other stuff, the translations and all that, there's metaphorical truths being spoken of that we need to consider when we look at mythology. What is the metaphorical reality behind any of the untruths? Antinomial, other, what is the truth and what is the good that has been replaced